Week 3 of the NFL is done. It's over with. We're moving on to week 4 already, guys. I mean, it's just flying by. You know, the NFL season, it's like that. And, you know, it starts preseason, and then week 1 comes, and then before you already know it, we're already in the playoffs. So week 3 is all done, taken care of. We saw some good games. The Buffalo Bills Monday night a few nights ago, dominating. I mean, absolutely crushing the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they look bad. You know, I thought the Carolina Panthers were the worst franchise. I mean, they're still one of the worst, but Jacksonville, oh my goodness, they look absolutely horrible. I mean, that is just a piss poor performance on their part. You know, Monday Night Football, it's a primetime game. You gotta show up, man, and they didn't. They just couldn't do anything. Trevor Lawrence couldn't make any plays. That offensive line is horrible. Can't give them any time. They don't have any run. They don't have a running game. Receivers were dropping passes. It was horrible for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But Buffalo, I mean, these guys are scoring points. Their defense is nonstop. Josh Allen, I mean, we all know this guy is a playmaker. We all know this guy can put up points. If you have him in your fantasy league, you know he's a stud. But, you know, can he continue this down the line? We've seen him a few times in the postseason. He really can't get the job done. He can't really win that game in the playoffs, you know, when it matters the most. But right now, that team's looking pretty damn good. I mean, they're winning. You know, they're winning games. They're 3-0. They're the number one offense in terms of points scored right now, and they're looking awesome. And then we had another Monday Night Football game. The Washington Commanders going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. That was a great game. Cincinnati tried to make a comeback, but it was a little too late. Washington Commanders, that offense, Jaden Daniels, the rookie, looked very impressive. I mean, Monday Night Football, you know, big time for a rookie, and he answered. He answered the call, and he put on a hell of a performance. So that congrats to the Commanders, big win there. And then the Lions, the Detroit Lions, we'll get to them in a couple minutes here. Big game on the road against Arizona. That was a great game. I mean, the running game, we established the running game once again. Jared Goff made some nice plays, had a couple touchdowns there. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a touchdown there early in the first quarter, put first points on the board. It was awesome. You know, like I said, getting the playmakers involved, getting that two-headed monster involved, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. So that was a big victory for the Lions, without a doubt, after coming back from that disappointing loss from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, this week, they got Monday Night Football against the Seattle Seahawks. We have to beat those guys because past 5 meetings, they've beaten us. They have our number, but we have to flip the script this coming Monday night. And with that, welcome to Guys Time with the Bryce. The Bryce is back. We got to talk about football. So, yeah, we got to talk about week 3. It was a good one. Thursday Night Football, obviously, the Jets took care, beat the Patriots 24-3. Aaron Rodgers looked good. That Patriots team did not look good at all. It seemed like they didn't even show up for the game. I mean, 3 points, professional football on Thursday night, that's pathetic. And I know it's a short week for both of those teams, but I mean, come on, man. You got to put more points on the board instead of 3. So that was horrible. And then the Giants getting their first win against the Browns, 21-15. Yeah, the Browns just they don't look good at all. I mean, they're just not playing together. There's no camaraderie there. You know, there's no teamwork there. They're not working together as a unit. But the Giants came up big. Daniel Jones had a pretty good game, 24-34, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns. Malik Nabers, the rookie out of LSU, had 2 touchdown passes, so that was nice to see that. We had the Packers and the Titans are 0-3. I mean, this team, you know, Will Levis, I don't know, man. Did they get rid of the wrong guy? I mean, Malik Willis was on their squad last year, and now he's the starting quarterback for the Packers, and he had a good game. 6 carries, 73 yards, 1 touchdown. And then, the Packers defense had a pick 6 from Jair Alexander, their shutdown corner, their star corner out of Green Bay there. They won 30-14. We don't know if Jordan Love's going to be back this week. Matt LaFleur says hopefully we get him back as soon as possible. But, yeah, Malik Willis looking pretty good in his 2 starts. But, yeah, Tennessee, man, 0-3, not looking good at all for the Titans there. The Bears lost to the Colts 21-16. Caleb Williams, like I said numerous times on this podcast, man, I don't trust that guy. I really don't. I think the hype is not there. I think he was overhyped. I think the pressure, and I know he's a rookie. This is only week 3, going on to week 4. But yeah, you see a lot of these rookies, instead of sitting and watching for a season, they're thrown into the mix. They're thrown into the wild, as they say, and he has to make play. He has to start now as a young rookie. We saw it with Bryce Young. That didn't work out too well. That was a disaster. We've seen it with him now. It's not looking too good. I know it's early in the season, but man, the hype is just, I think he was overhyped. C.J. Stroud was thrown in there last year, and he did really, really well. So it kind of just depends, how these teams use their quarterbacks. It just depends how, the system around them. You got one guy, but you need help. He's your franchise quarterback. You need an offensive line. You need a running game. You need receivers. You need a defense to help him out. But yeah, I'm just not liking the situation there with Chicago. So yeah, they lost to the Colts. The Vikings absolutely destroying the Texans, 34-7. I mean, Texans didn't even show up this game, and the Vikings are 3-0 behind Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, this guy, nobody. He was a nobody. I mean, a career resurgence perhaps. I mean, maybe. I mean, this guy coming back and starting quarterback this year. J.J. McCarthy is done for the season with a torn meniscus in his knee, and now he's taking advantage of the opportunity. 3-0, 2-0 at home. That defense is looking good. Top 5 defense for the Vikings, and yeah, top 5 offense for the Minnesota Vikings. They look very dangerous right now, and who would have thought that? After watching last season, but man, they are definitely kicking down the door and answering the call, and that's crazy. They're leading the NFC North right now, so yeah, all the teams, including the Lions, you gotta watch out for the Vikings. You gotta watch out for this team, man. They're not messing around. And then the Eagles come back to beat the Saints. Saints suffered their first loss, 15-12. The Eagles won that game. Kind of an upset there. Saints, high scoring offense going into week 3, and then couldn't really do anything against the Eagles, who blew that game a couple weeks ago against the Falcons on Monday Night Football. So the Steelers and the Chargers. So Steelers are 3-0, top defense in the league. They win 20-10. Only allowing 10 points. That's very impressive. And then the Chargers, kind of blew it there. Justin Herbert got hurt again, so I'm not sure if he's going to play this week. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. And then the Broncos, big upset on the road against the Buccaneers, 26-7. I mean, this was crazy. I mean, Buccaneers going to that game, they looked hot. And I mean, Baker Mayfield found his home finally. I said on the podcast last week. But the Broncos came out of nowhere and just took care of business. They just came out and won this game. 26-7, big upset. If you're the Buccaneers, you're just like, what the hell happened? What the hell happened here? So you had that. And then the Panthers win the first game of the season. I said last week they were the worst team in the NFL. Well, now you bench Bryce Young. He's probably going to get traded to another team. You bring in the fiery head, the fiery rocket, Andy Dalton, the seasoned veteran, and you win games. You win this game against the Raiders. Of course, new starting quarterback, a veteran who's been around for many years now. They win 36-22. First win of the season for the Panthers. Andy Dalton, 26 for 37, 319 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I'm sure no one in fantasy picked him up, and if you did, congrats to you. That's awesome. But man, big win for the Panthers. The Raiders just look like a bunch of fools, look like a bunch of idiots. At home too, losing to the Panthers. Yeah, that's embarrassing to see that. And then the Seahawks winning 24-3. They're 3-0 as well. The Seahawks team, this is looking like a pretty damn good team right now. And the Lions have to face them Monday night this week. So we have to beat those guys. I'm telling you, man. But yeah, the Dolphins. Whew, yeah, that team. They're going downhill. They're done. Without Tua Tagovailoa, Skylar Thompson, I just don't trust that guy at all. Yeah, I mean, he's not the answer. So you have that. You got the Ravens winning 28-25 against the Dallas Cowboys. It was already like 28-7 going into the fourth quarter. So garbage time for Dak Prescott. He's known for that. and almost came back and won. But the Ravens finally got their first win of the season. Cowboys dropped to 1-2. You know, the Cowboys just cannot stop that run. Their run defense is horrible. It's the worst in the NFL. They're giving up 185.7 yards per game, according to ESPN statistics. I mean, they just don't look good at all. And the statistics don't lie. 25 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns for Derrick Henry. You finally fed him the ball. Maybe that's the answer. See, Baltimore woke up a little bit. So you had that. The Rams winning against the 49ers, coming back. I think they were down 21-7 at one point, and the Rams came back and won at home. So 49ers, you got a lot of key players still out. George Kittle didn't play. Deebo Samuel's out. Christian McCaffrey's going to be out for a while. I think Brock Purdy hurt himself in this game, despite having a 3-touchdown game, almost 300-yard passing game. So status on him is unknown at this point. And then you had the Lions going up against the Cardinals. Like I said, this was a big game. I said it last week on the podcast. They needed to win this game, and they found a way to win. 20-13. They won. They did what they needed to do. Go back to the running game. Obviously, that was working, right? See, you gotta listen to me sometimes. I kind of know what I'm talking about. 23 carries, 105 yards, 1 touchdown for David Montgomery, and then 7 receptions, 75 yards, 1 touchdown for Amon-Ra St. Brown. But yeah, that was a big win on the road. There was a lot of Lions fans. I want to talk about that for a couple seconds. I mean, it was blue. That whole stadium in Arizona, it was blue. There was a lot of blue there. I mean, it was crazy. It felt like a home game for the Lions. I mean, these Lions fans, they travel, dude. They're committed. They're expecting big things this year, and that was just a huge turnout to see. So that was awesome. I love seeing it. One pride, all grit. We're all in, baby. Let's do this. I love seeing that. That is awesome. Like I said, it felt like a home game. I mean, all that blue at Arizona. I mean, it was unreal. But yeah, lots of Lions fans, committed, dedicated Lions fans out there. We appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. Bring the noise this Monday night. Next Monday night at Ford Field against those damn Seahawks. We have to beat those guys, man. I hate losing to them. So we got to beat those guys on Monday night and finally figure out how to beat the Seahawks. So then Sunday Night Football, this game was crazy. Chiefs won 22-17. There should have been a pass interference call made towards the end of the game. Wasn't called because, the Chiefs and the refs love each other. They work for each other. They do favors for each other, give each other massages and all that stuff. But yeah, the Chiefs win. They're 3-0. I don't know. They're not... Out of all the 3-0 teams, they're like the least impressive, in my opinion, the Chiefs. I know they're defending Super Bowl champions. I get that, Patrick Mahomes, but I don't know. They really haven't impressed me so far. I think the Falcons got screwed. Obviously the passing interference call, dude, it was right there. The guy's hugging him before the ball gets to his hands. How do you not see that? And there was a ref right there, and they don't throw the flag. Like, come on now, that's ridiculous. So. Whatever, that's the NFL. And then you had 2 Monday night games. Like I said, the Bills taking care of business 47-10, and then the Commanders winning 38-33. That was a really good game. In comparison to the first Monday night game, Bills dominating. Like I said, number 1 offense right now. Josh Allen is, playing his ass off right now. Jacksonville 0-3 on the season. They're not looking good at all. I mean, I'm telling you what, Trevor Lawrence is definitely not playing football at the highest level. That offensive line is horrible. They don't have a running game. The receivers drop passes, and that defense is just horrendous. It really is. It's bad for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But the Bills, watch out for the Bills, man. They're on a mission this year. And then Commanders and the Bengals. Great game there. 38-33. Lots of scoring, lots of excitement. The Washington Commanders, man, they looked really good. They looked really impressive. I was very surprised to see that. But on the flip side, Bengals drop 0-3. That's unfortunate. Especially at home. You want to get that victory on Monday Night Football at your own place. But they failed to do so, despite Joe Burrow having a game 28 for 38, 324 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase his guy, his dude, his number one target, 6 receptions, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. Couldn't do it. Couldn't get the win. It is what it is. But the Commanders, man, 2-1 on the season, looking good, especially in that crazy, horrible NFC East division. Anything's possible. So, yeah, week 3 was crazy. Lots of scoring, big upsets in a couple games. But now we got to hop over to week 4. Week 4 is here, and we start with the Dallas Cowboys and the Giants. So, the Bryce, like I didn't do last week, like an idiot, I forgot to do my week 3 picks. I'm sure as hell not going to miss this week. I got to do my week 4 picks. So, we got to dive into that a little bit. And then, yeah, like I said, the Lions winning 20-13. Big win there. But yeah, week 4 is here. So let's make the picks already for week 4. It's going to be an exciting one. Get your fantasy football lineups ready to go. So we got the Thursday night football tomorrow night. We got Dallas and the Giants division matchup here. And like I said, Dallas has the worst rushing defense, allowing 185 yards per game, and then third worst defense altogether in terms of points allowed, 29.7 points per game. This Dallas defense, despite having Micah Parsons, one of the best defensive players in the game, they just cannot stop the run. And so if the Giants can establish a running game early in this matchup, they can possibly win. And they're playing at home in New York, 8:15 on Prime Video. I got the Giants in this one. I'm taking the Giants. I like, they got their first victory last week on the road against the Browns. It's a short week. I get that, but that has to bring confidence. That has to give this team some confidence going into Thursday night football against a division rival, Dallas Cowboys. So I like the Giants in this one. They're going to take care of business. Like I said, establish a running game because Dallas ain't going to stop it. Obviously, their run defense is horrible, trash, absolute garbage. So Giants win this one against the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sure Stephen A. Smith will have a field day if the Dallas Cowboys lose. But yeah, I got the Giants winning that one, Thursday night football. And then Sunday, we got the whole slew of games. So yeah, the New Orleans Saints going up against the Atlanta Falcons. New Orleans score 34.3 points per game. That's number 1 in the NFL right now, or number 2 rather, in the NFL right now behind the Bills. Kirk Cousins, he has a 2-3 record all time against the Saints. 13 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 13 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. This is according to StatMuse.com. I still like the New Orleans Saints on the road. This is another division game. They bounced back from that horrible, embarrassing loss to the Eagles last week. They're going to come in here and they're going to win against the Atlanta Falcons. I got the New Orleans Saints being the Atlanta Falcons there. The Los Angeles Rams going up against the Chicago Bears. So this one, I got the Rams in this one. Big victory last week against a division rival, the 49ers. That confidence is going to carry over to Sunday. And I know they're playing at Chicago. Tough place to play, but I don't trust Caleb Williams. I don't like that team at all. I got the Rams winning that one. You got Minnesota at Green Bay. So Sam Darnold, bruised knee. He suffered a bruised knee this past Sunday. Expected to play. Jordan Love, I'm not sure. Matt LaFleur, Coach Matt LaFleur said hopefully we get him back as soon as possible, so that could be this week, next week. We're not sure. We might still see Malik Willis. 2 games, he has 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. And then Minnesota has allowed 10 points per game, which is second among all defenses in the league, behind the Pittsburgh Steelers. Minnesota, and then they're scoring too. They have a top 5 score offense right now. I like Minnesota in this one, 3-0. They're going to extend to 4-0. That's a tough team right now. I like the Minnesota Vikings on the road against Green Bay. Pittsburgh at Indianapolis. So Pittsburgh, top defense, 8.7 points per game. Defense wins championships, correct, right? That's not going to change. Pittsburgh's going to win this one at Indianapolis on the road. Pittsburgh is going to win. I got the Steelers beating the Colts there. Denver at New York. I like the Jets in this one, even though Denver coming off a big victory last week. I like the Jets winning this one. Broncos won big against the Buccaneers, but Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, I think they found their rhythm after watching Thursday Night Football last week against the Patriots. Jets win this one. I like Aaron Rodgers at home against the Denver Broncos. You got Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. So, yeah, this is really a battle of two teams that lost last week. I like Tampa Bay at home. Baker Mayfield is going to bounce back. He's going to have a big game against the Philadelphia Eagles. They don't have a great defense. I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning against the Philadelphia Eagles. So you got that. You got Cincinnati at Carolina. Andy Dalton facing his former team at home. Cincinnati's 0-3. They need a win, desperately need a win. If Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, connect again, have a big game, if they can score early and their defense can show up, I believe the Cincinnati Bengals can win. So I'm going to take the Bengals in this one on the road against the Panthers. But watch out for those Panthers, man. Andy Dalton playing his former team. That's going to be an interesting one. So you got that. So Jacksonville at Houston. Like I said, Jacksonville looks horrible right now. God awful. Oh, Jesus. Trevor Lawrence, I feel bad for that poor bastard. That guy, great player. Obviously you've seen him in college at Clemson. He has no offensive line, no running game. His defense can't help him out. You get blown out 47-10 on Monday Night Football. That's absolutely embarrassing. That's trash. That's disgraceful. You're going up against Houston. This is a division matchup. Houston coming off a loss. And an embarrassing loss, rather, to the Minnesota Vikings. They need this win. They're playing at home. I got the Houston Texans winning this one. I think their defense is going to be too much for Jacksonville in that offensive line. So I got the Houston Texans winning there. You got the Washington Commanders going up at Arizona. This is going to be an interesting one. You got two decent quarterbacks, Kyler Murray and Jayden Daniels. Washington coming off a big victory against the Bengals on Monday night. Cardinals coming off a big loss to the Lions. I like the Washington Commanders in this one. They're going to win on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. New England at San Francisco. San Francisco is a banged-up team. And they almost won against the Rams last week. New England got embarrassed on Thursday Night Football. I like the 49ers at home, despite all the injuries. They're going to win and beat the Patriots because that team, after watching Thursday Night Football, they didn't even show up that game. They really didn't. They got embarrassed on live TV. So 49ers winning against the Patriots there. You got Cleveland at the Vegas Raiders. Vegas Raiders, Anthony Pierce, Coach Antonio Pierce, not Anthony Pierce, excuse me. Antonio Pierce, the head coach, he's going to put those guys in shape. I do believe Cleveland will not have an answer. Those guys, they're just all over the place right now. Vegas Raiders at home, taking those guys again this week. They better win or I'll be very upset. So Raiders win against the Browns there. You got Kansas City at Los Angeles. Kansas City's going to win this one. Who knows if Justin Herbert is going to play this week. I don't think he is. And it's a division game. Patrick Mahomes going to come and play. He's going to show up. And, they need to do something because obviously they're a little banged up too. No Isaiah Pacheco, but I still believe they're going to win on the road. Kansas City wins this one against the Chargers. And then Sunday Night Football. We got the Buffalo Bills at Baltimore. Baltimore winning their first game barely against the Cowboys last week, but Buffalo has the highest scoring offense right now. Josh Allen making plays, and I think that defense of Baltimore, not the greatest. It's going to be too much for them. Josh Allen is going to be a nightmare, an absolute nightmare for this team. So Buffalo's going to win that one against the Baltimore Ravens. So I got Buffalo in there. And then now this Monday night coming up, just like last week, this week we got two Monday Night Football games. We got Tennessee at Miami. That's going to be a horrible game. I don't even know why they even scheduled that. That is going to be, I might not even watch that. I might just wait till the 8:15 game when the Lions go take on the Seahawks because you got Miami and Tennessee. I have to make a pick. I don't even know at this point. I guess I'll take Miami at home. But, man, to have that game on Monday Night Football, that is disgusting, dude. Two trash teams, two horrible teams, two teams that are just not good at all. And you're going to put them on Monday Night Football? Disgusting. It just reminds me a couple years ago when you had 1-5 and 0-6 teams playing on Thursday night. Yeah, that's a great way to start off the season or to start off the week, right? Unbelievable. Yeah. As long as the NFL makes money, who gives a damn, right? But yeah, I got Miami at home against Tennessee. But man, like I said, I think I'm going to wait till 8:15 to go watch the Seattle Seahawks and the Detroit Lions. This is a big game. So Detroit and Seattle, you got two top 10 defenses. Seattle's allowing 14.3 points a game. That's fourth in the NFL. Detroit's allowing 17.7 points a game. That's ninth in the NFL. Seattle has won the last 5 meetings since 2015. So that's not good. Their last loss against the Detroit Lions, against our Lions, 10-28, 2012. I was a sophomore in high school. Yeah, and now I'm a 28-year-old man. So it's been a while. It's been a long time. We won that game 28-24. That's according to StatMuse.com. Aiden Hutchinson leads the NFL in sacks, 6.5 sacks. He's a leader right now. Seattle pass defense, 132.3 yards per game. That's number 1 in the NFL. That could be trouble for our passing game. But their run defense is only 15th in the league, 116.3 yards per game. Our rushing attack, our rushing offenses, we got 163 yards per game. That's 4th in the NFL. So we got a top 5 running game. We got to establish that. Establish the running game. Expose Seattle. So get David Montgomery, feed that man, and feed Jahmyr Gibbs. I love seeing those two working together, running the football down everyone's throat. I got the Detroit Lions in this one. Despite everything I said about Seattle, I think that running game of Detroit is going to be the difference maker. Seattle's going to have a hard time defending that. And, you got David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, two-headed monster. Those guys are fun to watch. They make plays. And the running game's going to be different. We're a little banged up on the offensive line. Frank Ragnow has a partially torn pectoral muscle, so he's going to be out for an indefinite time. That's unfortunate. He's our center. But next man up, no excuses. But the running game for Detroit will be the difference maker. That place is going to be loud. People are going to scream their heads off. I got the Detroit Lions win this one against the Seattle Seahawks. Win, boys. Take care of business. Come on now. You can beat these guys. I know they've been a pain in our asses for many years now, but we got to win. It's Monday Night Football at home. Get that running game going. Smash mouth football, bully football, pound the rock. Feed them more. That's it. So get the running game going. You guys will win. So Detroit, I got the Lions at home against the Seattle Seahawks. And those are week 4 picks of the NFL season. So yeah, I didn't forget this time. So I know last week you guys were wondering, where the hell are the football picks? I gave it to you. So shut your mouths. Week 4 picks are in. So the Bryce has that. And now we gotta hop over to college. So college football, we got these rankings. So number 1, Texas right now. And that's no surprise there. They're looking really good. And I said numerous times, they're going to compete for a national championship. If everyone stays healthy, Arch Manning, he's been looking very impressive past 2 games. Quinn Ewers, who knows if he's going to be back. I think he's going to miss some time. But Arch Manning looking very well. When you come from the Manning family, you're determined to have some success. And this kid's looking fabulous right now. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see him in the national championship game this year. If they stay healthy, if they continue to win games, they're looking good. So they're number 1, Texas. Georgia, number 2. Ohio State, number 3. Alabama, number 4. And then Tennessee at number 5 up there. You got Ole Miss there at 6. Miami at 7. Oregon's at 8. Michigan moving up to number 12. They were 18 last week going into that USC game. That crazy, dramatic, unbelievable game against the USC Trojans. Michigan, oh my God, it was the tale of two games. That first half, Michigan dominated, up 14-3. They dominated all sides of the ball, offense, defense, and special teams. But then let's wind the clocks forward to the second half. It was a completely different game. Michigan obviously didn't make any adjustments. USC did. They almost beat us at the Big House. Thank God Kalel Mullings had 2 big runs and a touchdown for us to get that victory. Scoring with like 35 seconds left in that game. That's what college football is all about. 2 iconic programs. We haven't beaten them in a very long time. They've had our number in the Rose Bowl for many years. So that was a big win for Michigan. They move up 6 spots. They were 18 last week. Now they're number 12. We're above USC. USC is 13 this week. But Michigan definitely needed that win. It was a statement game. We did what we had to do. Get Kalel Mullins involved. That guy is unbelievable. He saved our ass, and we win 27-24. But yeah, that's college football at its finest, man. It keeps you on your edge of your seat. Your heart drops. You start to panic because, yeah, like I said, man, that was a tale of two football games. First half, Michigan dominated. Second half, USC dominated because they made adjustments and we didn't. It was horrible. But I tell you what, Alex Orji needs to throw the ball. We need to throw the ball. Because if you expect to play like that against teams like Oregon and Ohio State, and even this Saturday coming up against Minnesota, and then even Michigan State. Michigan State's 3-0 right now, or 3-1 rather. But a close game there at Boston College. You will struggle. We have to pass the ball. He's just got, you have to design plays for him to throw the ball. And maybe he's getting exposed there. He can't throw it 50, 60, 70 yards down the field like we're used to, with J.J. McCarthy and all those guys. But, 7 of 12, 32 yards passing, it's not going to work, buddy. Down the line. That's great that we won this game against USC. It was a nail biter. It was, everything you can think of for a college football game, the dramatics, edge of your seat, your heart pounding, 2 iconic programs, big house, 3:30, CBS, Brad Nessler and Gary Anderson on the call. That's college football at its finest, man. But Michigan winning that game, they needed to. But, yeah, they got Minnesota this Saturday, Little Brown Jug. They got to win that one, too. But you got to pass the ball. You got to pass the ball because down the line in this schedule, the schedule is brutal for the Wolverines. You're going to get exposed, man. You're not going to win just from running the ball, 60, 70 times a game. Got to throw it. Got to mix it up. So, yeah, those are your rankings. But, yeah, some scores from last week. As I mentioned, Michigan winning in a nail-biter and a thriller. College football. That's a complete definition of college football, right? So you had that. Illinois winning on Friday, 24-31. Big Ten matchup there. Raiola looking very good over there, quarterback at Nebraska. Despite the loss, he had a 3-touchdown game. But they'll bounce back. Nebraska's got a good team there. And then obviously Texas taking care, destroying UL Monroe, 51-3. Ohio State destroying Marshall, 49-14. So yeah, all these top 5, top 10 teams, they're facing nobodies. Why is that, right? Come on. Let these guys play somebody. Let's have Texas and Ohio State play each other, this weekend, right? That would be awesome. But that's college football for you. And then Tennessee beating the Oklahoma Sooners. I was watching this game. It looked like the Oklahoma didn't show up, man. They lose at home 25-15, but Tennessee looking very, very good. So do not sleep on those guys. Missouri winning in the nail biter against Vanderbilt, 30-27. Miami winning against South Florida, 50-15. Penn State winning 56-0 against Kent State, an 0-4 Kent State team. Yeah, that's very impressive, Penn State. And then Michigan winning that nail biter, as I mentioned, 27-24. Kalel Mullins had 2 touchdowns, 17 carries, 159 yards. Like I said, that's great, but you gotta get that passing game going. So big victory for the Wolverines. I'm not complaining. A win's a win, right? Especially in college football. Utah winning against Oklahoma State. Louisville, they won. Clemson won as well. But yeah, this is that was good. That was a good week for college football. And then Michigan State going to Boston College. That was a good game. But Michigan State unfortunately losing to Boston College. So they're 3-1 on the season. And now we got to hop over to week 5. So week 5, we got Army and Temple opening up tomorrow. You got Virginia Tech and Miami on Friday, Washington and Rutgers on Friday as well. And then Michigan Minnesota at Michigan, Little Brown Jug, noon kickoff on Fox. Michigan opens up -9. The under and over is 35.5. Yeah, Michigan, like I said, they got to establish a passing game. Minnesota, this is a rivalry game, so I don't know if you want to throw the ball as much, more than you did last week or you've done all season. Obviously feed Kalel Mullins. He's our guy. He's the man. He's proven it all season long so far. But you got to get the passing game going because you will get exposed down the line against harder opponents like Oregon and Ohio State and perhaps even Michigan State. So Minnesota at Michigan. I got Michigan this one. The little brown jug stays at can't even speak, at Ann Arbor. The little brown jug stays home. So I got Minnesota winning there. Oklahoma State at Kent State. BYU at Baylor. USC playing Wisconsin. Louisville playing Notre Dame. Oklahoma playing Auburn. So some big games here. And then Mississippi State at Texas. Michigan State playing Ohio State this week, 7 o'clock. Oh, man, that's going to be an interesting one. I say Ohio State's going to win. But if Michigan State wins, that would be awesome too. So help us out, Sparty. So you got that. And then the Saturday night game, you got Georgia at Alabama. This one, SEC matchup, rivals for many years. Alabama at home, that's tough. That's a tough place to play. Obviously, no more Nick Saban, but number 2, Georgia. I'm still not convinced after a couple weeks ago almost losing to Kentucky. I'm going to pick Alabama in this one. I like Alabama at home. They're going to win against Georgia. This is going to be This is going to be a smash mouth football game, a classic football game between 2 SEC teams. I like Alabama over the Georgia Bulldogs in this one. Then you got Penn State playing against Illinois at home. Oregon playing UCLA at 11 o'clock on Fox. Wow, that's a late game. And then Washington State playing Boise State at 10 o'clock on FS1. And then Florida State, we don't need to talk about them. They're probably going to lose against SMU. Trash program. Absolutely embarrassing if you're a Florida State fan or alumni or even a student. God bless you. I feel bad for you guys very much. So a lot of decent games this weekend. But go Blue. Beat the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Keep the little brown jug in Ann Arbor and win. Wins matter now, so you guys gotta win and keep moving forward. Like I said, get that passing game going. Keep feeding Khalil Mullings. You do that, you guys will be all right. So that's college football for this week. So you got that. And then Kentucky's playing Ole Miss as well. So some big games there. Watch some college football. Watch the NFL. Fantasy football, you already know what to do. I hope you guys are enjoying your fantasy football season so far. Unlike me, my team in one of my leagues is absolutely torched. I mean, all my guys are injured. I'm playing with backups right now. It is what it is, right? It pains me. It really does. But I hope all you other fantasy football owners / players are having much more success than I am. So watch some NFL, watch some college football, play some bets, get those fantasy football lineups set and ready to go. And now we're going to end this episode today, talk a little bit about baseball. Why we got to talk about baseball? Because these Detroit Tigers are coming out of nowhere. Like, what? Where are the Detroit Tigers? Like, the beginning of the season, I've only watched maybe 2 or 3 games because they were horrible. I mean, you talk about April, May, June, July. I mean, this team wasn't even competing for the postseason. They were competing for the wild card spot. Now they're in the wild card. Beginning of August, this team, the Detroit Tigers, were at least 8.5 games back from the wild card spot. 8.5 games behind the Minnesota Twins. But now they're in the They're in the wild card. We surpassed the Minnesota Twins. I mean, this is unbelievable, and this is according to CBSSports.com. I mean, the Tigers are playing baseball at the best time, right? I told you. July, August, September. Right after the All-Star break, right after the All-Star game. That's when teams need to play their best baseball. And the Detroit Tigers looking absolutely impressive. I mean, they're just kicking ass. They're getting those wins when it matters most. They're playing some damn good baseball. I love it, man. I love it. So the Tigers traded away, Jack Flaherty, Mark Canha, Carson Kelly, and Andrew Chafin. So they sold all these guys. They got rid of all these guys. They were 8.5 games behind the Twins entering August. And then since they put up a 30-17 record since the start of August, they've had the AL's best record over their last 30 games entering Sunday, which was a couple days ago. And then I do believe they won last night, too, or yesterday afternoon against the Tampa Bay Rays. So the Tigers are clicking, man. I love it. I love seeing this. The Tigers playing the postseason, and then you got the Red Wings, the NHL season starting in a couple weeks, and then you got Detroit Lions football. Lions, Tigers, and Red Wings. Imagine that, right? That would be awesome if we can witness that. But yeah, the Tigers, a team that many thought wouldn't do anything. I mean, they just trash. Not going to do a damn thing this year. And now they're in the wild card spot right now. And now they got a few more games. They got Tampa Bay tonight at 6:40 p.m. and then they finished off the series against Tampa Bay tomorrow, Thursday at 1:10. So we should win those games there. And then you got the Chicago White Sox to finish off the season. So you got 5 more games. Win them all, baby. I mean, keep this run going. I mean, I didn't really notice this until people started talking about it. Yeah, they were like asking me, "Man, have you seen those Detroit Tigers?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Dude, they're in the wild card spot." I'm like, "What?" So I had to look this up, and it's right there. I mean, it's insane, man. So yeah, Detroit Tigers, congrats. Like I said, playing baseball at the right time. 5 games left. You got Chicago White Sox, the worst team in the MLB right now. That should be an easy sweep, but you never know because they are in the AL Central, just like us. But you gotta finish this first. You gotta finish this series against Tampa Bay, and then move on to Chicago. But they're all at home. All these 5 games. The next 5 games are at home too. So expect a lot of people at these games, man. I mean, this is exciting. I'm really happy about that. So yeah, go Tigers. Kick ass, win games, man. You guys are in the wild card. Don't blow it. Keep it rolling. Keep that train rolling, dude. Keep the momentum going. So that's very impressive. I love seeing that from the Detroit Tigers. So you have that, and we are done. So thank you for joining me on this episode of Guys Time to Brise. You guys already know the drill. YouTube for the video version of this episode at Guys Time to Brise. Follow me there, and then the audio version is going to be available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. This episode will be available for you guys later today. So thank you for joining me. Go Tigers, go Blue, go Lions, and then in a few weeks, let's go Red Wings. Hockey's starting up in a couple weeks. The regular season, they've had some preseason games so far. All 32 teams, or some 32 teams, some of the 32 teams in the NHL. But regular season starts in October. It's gonna be fun. So yeah, let's go Tigers, man. Finish, guys. You got 5 more games. Finish. Compete for, stay in the wild card spot. Compete in the postseason. That would be awesome. And then go Blue. Beat those Minnesota Golden Gophers. Keep that little brown jug at home. And then obviously go Lions. Monday Night Football, prime time. Beat those damn Seattle Seahawks. We have to win this one. I mean, I can't stress it enough. We have to beat those guys, man. Establish the running game. They won't stop it. We're gonna win. So with that, the Brise is out. You guys take care. Have a great rest of the day. And I will be back next week. Go Blue. Go Tigers. Go Lions.